Peggy 16.
And finally, it is time to get the XDefiant Showcase underway. Team X featuring Slack, ZooMaa, and Crimsix go up against Team Pacman featuring JKap, Enable, and Censor. Map 1 is Nudleplex Domination. It all starts now.
Oh man, I could not be more excited to see these guys get fiery, get lit, see who's gonna start the trash talk in person first. That's the biggest thing. But as you start to mention, domination, 3 points, capture them, earn time. Capture 2 of them, you get 2 points per second. Otherwise, you'll be stuck on 1. And there is the potential of full triple domination in this mode.
Yeah, great start here for Team Pacman. You see Censor straight up the middle of the map. He has his secondary weapon out. He's moving faster when he has that gun up as opposed to his primary. And nice use of the mag barrier down here for JKap. Sets up a pretty defensible position in the middle of the map, and now Team X are going to get pushed off these objectives.
Yeah, the early control of B, I think, is going to be the majority of what you're always going to see in domination, but it's down to what these players feel is the stronger side, as often these maps are not fully symmetrical, right? So do you want A and B? Do you want B and C? That's kind of going to be the biggest battle, while also still focus on the mid-map, and I think most importantly, what weapons and what abilities are we going to see trying to control those spaces.
Yeah, so every player on either of these teams are playing as a different class. These classes are actually sort of factions from previous Ubisoft titles, right? Where, DedSec, of course, they hail from Watch Dogs. Echelon, of course, from Splinter Cell. Libertad as well, a class that has healing capability, comes from Far Cry 6 here. So you see JKap, he's on a Phantom class here who can deploy that mag barrier. He has more health by default as well, making him a bit more durable in those stand-up gunfights.
Yeah, each of the factions are going to come with one activatable ability, as well as that middle bottom area. That's their Ultra Charge, which is obviously a game-changing ability, depending on the class that you happen to be put in. But like you mentioned, passive abilities are going to be also inherently involved with all of these different factions. So Hardened giving you that little bit of extra life is going to be key towards kind of setting up who's your quote-unquote frontliner.
You're going to see many of the weapons you know and love from previous sort of realistic shooters, right? So you enable here with the ACR, which is a weapon that is just disgustingly accurate, a little bit tougher to get value out of up close, but really at those longer ranges, it's pretty scary. X has always been talked about the M16. The burst fire on this weapon, it's frighteningly accurate as well. And of course, the Vector comes into this game, Pacman making full use of that, getting right up in his opponent's faces.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you do see that kind of backline, frontline mentality, not just because of those classes and factions, but more so off of the weapons themselves, where that M16, burst weapon, it's not going to be all that successful when you get into close quarters. You want to try to see those subs really kind of force the issue when you start to make these objective-based plays, which, by the way, speaking of, not to lose sight of the state of the game here, this has been a dominant start from Team Pacman. Incendiary drone's going to be called out. That's going to leave that little trail of napalm right down a line as they try to re-break in, try to get this game close for Team 8.
Crimsix on the Phantom class here, so again has access to that mag barrier if he wants to deploy it here. Does throw it up, but too far in front of him here, and he gets overrun. Able to find a quick double here, and Team 8's for a moment able to control the courtyard. 8's trying to work in the periphery here, and you can see that JKap struggles. It's a 3-piece for 8's, an absolute menace in the courtyard.
And as we start to get a little bit closer towards this halftime period, as soon as we get through this last 2 minutes, the sides will swap and we'll go at it once again. No full actual score limit here. It's all based off of time. So being able to pick up these 2-for-1 captures are going to get that cushion into a position to where you really feel comfortable going into that second side swap.
Now again, maybe experienced this in some arena shooters in the past, but each class has an ultra ability. This is Aegis. JKap making use here of the Phantom's ultra. It's a shield that's impenetrable, essentially, and you don't want to be caught inside it with him.
Great moment here. Let's take a listen into Team 8, see what's going on in the comms.
Got him. There's one behind us. He's on our home flag. He's on our home flag.
Yeah. I'm on B.
Okay, he's on our home flag. He's spawn killing Doug.
I'll get him.
Spawn killing us.
Oh, he got me. He's got an ult on.
I got C. I'm on C. I'm on C.
Okay, yeah. Two there.
They ran back to B.
Where's this out?
Yeah, it's the famous 5.7 pistol that obviously Sam Fisher makes use of in Splinter Cell there. It's pretty scary, especially when that class has sort of a digital ghillie suit ability, so you are virtually invisible. You can still be seen. It's like active camo, right? You can kind of see the outline of someone if they're moving. Enable here is on the Libertad class, and again, the Bio Vita boost that he just uses there, he's going to be able to give healing and a temporary health boost, so that takes him to 120, which is equal to that of the Phantoms, which are the more sort of tanky class at default. And see that ultra being used. It's Medico Supremo. Very, very hard to take a play down when they're under the effect of this.
It's an extreme amount of health per second, and it also applies to all of your teammates around you. So it gives you that initial charge plus the extra healing on top. Yeah, very difficult to take down, but here's the cool thing about all these ultras. As strong as they are, they are still very counterable. You know, when we were doing the play test, we saw that Medico Supremo pop off. You're like, can you even kill this guy? And yes, with good team shots, you still can take down that Libertad out of their Ultra. So good neutralization of what is a very strong Ultra in the play. And as you start to see the stretch come across, Aches, how about that little quad feed for him? Able to allow his team a chance to get back into this game, still down a pretty significant margin.
ZooMaa, known for the signature flank. I'm not referring to the podcast there. He's able to wrap around, but he's not able to get too much done here for Team Aches.
It's a pretty convincing half. And that's the thing is, outside of us getting familiar with the maps, the modes, the players, the weapons, all the things that come with it, hey, you got to remember that you've only got this back half now to try to make up this point differential that you're at. So when you're looking at this from Slack's perspective, you got a lot of groundwork to do to get back in this game. Otherwise, Mercy Rule could still be in effect if you cannot mathematically come back.
Yeah, they are a long way behind, right? We're really starting to run out of time now. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in the round here. Slack under the effects of Biovita boost, so that extra health really goes a long way in winning that gunfight. Pacman tries to round the corner. He's brought down. That's 2 on the trot now for Slack. And Censor also falling. Slack now able to take some control here. Maybe a chance for a bit of a comeback here. But you can see JKap working his way, I think, past the noodle sign now, taking his time, knows his team has a strong lead to play off.
And that's the other thing when you consider the variety of different game modes that we're going to have. How you play around your teammates is going to change every single map that we see today. So a lot of these players very familiar with the Domination game mode very clearly. And at this point, I think you look at this from Team Pacman and say, hey, we're in a very comfortable lead. We don't need to force anything through this third capture zone. Let's just lock up this first map with the 2-point capture.
Pacman playing up in the face as well a lot of the time, that Vector. You actually need to throw an extended mag on that weapon more often than not because it spits bullets out like crazy and you don't want to spend all of your time reloading. Aches here though, trying to make his way back in for the rest of his squad, but Enable's sitting pretty now. I'm going to make his way in towards that courtyard. Still a healthy lead here for Team Aches. Flash out, playing that sort of longer range with the ACR and is able to back away with that healing effect. Slacked also under the Biovita boost now. Again, giving that healing in an AoE is huge and now seems to trade up in that gunfight and go for 2.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a lot of really key points here as far as where the uniqueness of XDefiant are. Hold on a second. Okay, you're seeing the presence of the M16 really reign supreme all of a sudden, but attachments, they're going to be available to customize your weapons in a variety of ways that you're familiar with from other titles and things of the nature. So yeah, things like extended mags, being able to put foregrips or different stocks or different optics on your weapon could be really influential towards really kind of letting the weapon shine.
Ooh, I love that from Aches. A great way to try and get his team back into this now. Opting for sort of the full automatic of the ACR over the M16 as he had previously. Enable those going to be able to push his way out. Bit of a top up now as he looks to try and work his way back into the middle part of the map. He is ready. Look at that. Waits for ZooMaa to come around the corner, takes him down. And now Team Pacman look like they're ready to try to flip the middle part.
Wow, clean 4-man feeds, clean team wipes coming through time and time again. And this lead is becoming unachievable nearly. 515 to 298 with 2 zones captured. This has been a dominant display, no pun intended here. And I don't know, it's one of those things that we're still gonna get a feel for it. These players are obviously still getting a feel for how things are working around the map, but overall, when you start to consider things like efficiency and pushes, you're looking at all these activatable abilities always coming out for Team Pacman, which has led to a lot of these break successes.
We see Pacman and Censor been playing a lot of the SMG play for much of the map. Pacman now making the switch up here. But it is obviously 2 points to 1. Slack looking to try and flip things back here over on C, but we're getting out of hand now. It's a minute 55 left in the round. A huge lead for Team Pacman.
You essentially have to play for a triple cap at this point in time. It's never something you want to hear because it's very difficult to be able to hold all 3 zones at the same time. Things like spawn changes, those are tough to read in 4v4s, although Slack, Crim getting work done, but right as soon as I say it, it's an immediate bounce back. Pacman able to get right back into the mix, and this becomes, again, that point where it becomes unachievable, you feel like, just based on the score, and there it is. Mercy Rule applied. It was too difficult and too impossible mathematically for the team to come back, so yes, the game just automatically ends.
Yeah, what an opening here for Team Pacman. A bit of a drubbing, I've got to say. Team Aches struggling to keep up there, and I really love seeing a lot of the up-close and personal play, a lot of the SMG running from Team Pacman really makes a big difference. What a way to start the series. Team Pacman go up 1-0.
Talk about a best case scenario for Team Pacman. That was a heck of a game 1, and they took it in style. So let's go ahead and bring up those game results to see exactly how they got it done. Uber, walk us through it.
Yeah, let's talk about a captain on Team Pacman's side, the man himself. He's playing right up close and personal a lot of the time. And that's actually by design because he is using the class known as the Cleaners, right? Which is obviously, faction from Tom Clancy's The Division. their passive ability actually limits their max range. So already you need to try and find a way to get a bit closer, but you trade that for having incendiary damage on all of your shots. So really, really hard to stave that damage off. Pacman is, pushing a lot of close corridors, getting value out of the incinerator drone, which just throws napalm down in a line. And look at the bottom of the scoreboard there. I'm not pointing out JKap for any sort of negative reason, but he comes out with 12 assists. He is moving to the middle part of the map, that courtyard, setting up the mag barrier so Pacman can close the gap safely. That little 2 peaks has been a huge part of the success for Team Pacman so far. They looked really good.
You know who didn't look really good?
This guy's team.
The team that got Mercy Rule in map 1. How are you doing? Are you okay?
You guys act like this isn't a best of 7. It's just one map.
Yeah, you arbitrarily picked the wrong team. Now you have to own it.
I'm fine. I'm still sticking with my boys. Okay. All right, I got faith. ZooMaa only had 1,500 damage. He's gonna clean things up. All right, he's got his nickname on being a ZooMaa flank. We're gonna see that come into play more often. And here's the thing: even though your boys may have been more efficient off of the overall abilities, if Slacked is gonna be doing stuff like this throughout the day with the M16, I'm still thinking that these guys could come back and possibly win 4 maps in a row, because this is some nasty gameplay and really showcases the high level ceiling that the M16 has when it comes to kill potential.
You've got to look out for the Libertad class. Not only do they have increased passive health regeneration, but if you pop that Biovita boost before jumping into a fight, you get that over health essentially for yourself and anybody close by, plus the increased healing. So really scary if you run into an opponent who's just popped that ability. You have to nail them quickly, otherwise they will kill you 1-to-1.
All right, again, Team Pacman taking the first map. Nudleplex going their way, but that doesn't mean Team X can't answer back on Escort, which will be played on Zoo coming up in just a minute, because first, we actually took the time to talk to the players because we wanted to know who they think their team's MVP is going to be, and also the most respected or maybe even feared player across the aisle.
I'm looking for a player to carry our team today. I have to go with Aches. He's been working hands-on with XDefiant and been working on the game, so I expect him to know all the little things, and carry us to victory.
Clutch situation on my team right now, I think I'm leaning on Doug Censor, still competing at almost the highest level, doing his thing. And, I think that experience, he's still grinding every day. I think he's gonna come out and be the X factor for us.
I expect Aches to fully carry us if he needs to. Like I said, he has the most playtime on the game. The guy's helped make the game. So when I'm looking at someone to clutch up for the team, it's gotta be him.
The hard carry's gotta be Pac. This only because it would be me, but he's got a lot more reps than everyone else on the team. So he's got the experience. I'll give it to him. You give me like 2 days though, and I'd be the hard carry. I'd be the best in the entire lobby.
Well, I feel like maybe respect was the wrong word because there was certainly no love lost.
What do you expect from these guys, really?
That is very fair. But I said it. We've got Escort coming up on Zoo next. And Shift, could you help the audience out? Explain a little bit about what we can expect from Escort.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see it happen, and it's gonna be pretty familiar. You're gonna have a package in the middle of the map. It has been familiarly nicknamed as Carlos in the community and the Reddit already, so we're gonna be giving it some love. We love a little bit of Carlos. But the thing is, this is all about a time race, getting the package as far as you possibly can to hopefully the end goal. But if you do not, it's a stopwatch game mode. So you'll swap the sides and the other team will have a chance to attack while the other gets a chance to defend and hopefully do it better.
Yeah, you're trying to get it furthest, and obviously if you're standing within proximity to the package, to Carlos as it were, you will escort it. It will advance across the map, and there are checkpoints where the attacker spawn will move up, the defender spawn will move back. So we'll see fighting happening all through the map in different areas.